Hello, today we're going to do some lovely little fish in a tin. I've got a watercolour pencil here and we're just going to outline some of the shapes. If you haven't got a watercolour pencil, just use a normal pencil, just do it very lightly. So just doing these shapes down the page, and that's very easy to do. And once you've done that, today we've got blue grey deep and we've got turquoise blue, along with indigo, and we've got a bit of Prussian blue there. We've got some flat brushes and we've taped down our cold press watercolour paper, and I've got the blue grey deep and a medium sized brush, and we're just going to go around the fish. So we've sort of drawn out the fish shapes and we are now just deepening those colours just around them. So grab your brush, grab your paint and get the paint down on that page. Just follow the marks that you've already made with those watercolour pencils. The pencil will just merge away, so you won't see that. And even if you haven't got watercolour pencils, you could use a normal pencil and just draw it on very lightly. Because we're using such a dark colour, you're not going to see that. So while the paint is still wet, I've got a dryish brush here and I'm dragging that wet paint around the fish. So if you imagine the shape of the fish, I'm sort of trying to make that shape by dragging that wet paint down and around and then up to meet the strokes that have come down. And that just gives a little bit of a feeling that the shape of the fish, you know, if you imagine a fish, he's not flat, he has got a roundish shape to him, and that's what we're trying to emulate. So we want light in the middle because that's where the light is going to touch the fish, and we're darkening those edges so it brings out that shape. So I've now got a more of a cerulean blue or an indigo blue, something along those lines, and I'm dragging that paint up. Again, very dry brush, not much water on my brush because I want to get these little irregularities. You can see the marks here. I want it to look as though it's a little bit shimmery in the light. So we want some of that white paper to still come through. So just filling up all of that lovely paper there and layering on top and going back with that very dark blue again, because we want it to look as though that's the shadow behind the fish and the fish is sitting on top. And you know how you get shadows when things are very closely packed in together, and that's what we're trying to make here. Again, just dragging down and up some of that paint, and because you're using the dry brush, you're just going to get little bits of paint flicking up and over the body of that fish. Gives a bit of a texturized kind of look. So just following round and completing all of that. Once we've done that, we've got some cadmium orange and a smallish brush, and we are just going to go round and make some little eyes for the fish. Just so little round circles where you imagine the eyes would be, and just putting them all over and down. Sort of if you can imagine the fish's eyes are sort of in line with each other as they're lying down in the same place. So it's sort of a line each side of those fishes. So I've done that and completed that, and just making sure that the colour is nice and deep, and then I'm doing their fins. So adding a little bit of orange to show where their fins are. And then once that's dry, I've got some watercolour pencils, or you could have coloured pencils. I just want to make a little bit more detail here and there, so I'm just adding some more little lines, and that's all it is. It's a bit of a scribble line coming down, and it just accentuates the paint marks that we've already made, and it just deepens that picture a little bit more and gives that roundish effect that we're looking for on the fish. Once we've done that, we want to add some details now to the eyes. So with a darkish pencil, we are just going to go round the eyes once we've finished making all those marks. And this just gives the fish a little bit of personality. Just makes them look as though they're looking up at us by adding these dark circles around and giving them a pupil. Just gives them that bit of personality that you really want to see when you're looking at your painting. So really enjoyable to do. This is just so fun. I just thought it'd be quite nice to do a picture like this, and I hope you agree. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this something you're going to do? Is it something you're going to try? I'd love to hear. So I've got a white acrylic paint pen and we are adding some light. So this will bring the eyes to life. It will just give them a little bit more of a glimmer, and adding some dots in the black of the eyes. So I just want to grab a black pen and just make some little bit more darker areas, just because that will just deepen what we've already done with the pencils. And just adding some more marks here and there. So you just look at your picture and just think, well, does it need more, or is it okay as it is, or am I enjoying myself? Should I continue? You make that choice how you feel about your painting. And I'm sort of like, you know, coming to the end here, just adding that little bit of extra detail, just so you can see how that fish sort of, the shape of it. Darkening the shadows as I go with that black pen. So just going in the middle there and just adding little mouths there, just on the fish. And then I've got a black acrylic paint marker and I want to outline, I want a nice crisp border to this, and I want a really nice white edge. So that will assist with that. And again, going over the shadows by adding this black acrylic pen just gives a little bit more detail. So I've heated up the tape and it's nice and sticky, and I'm just peeling it away, and I'm going to bring the fish up to the camera so you can have a look at their little faces. Aren't they cute? I hope you think so. Let me know in the comments. I really was very happy when I saw this, and I really like the texture and all of the marks made by the paint and the pen. But you let me know what you think. Has it worked out? Is it something you're going to try? I would love to hear. So that's been a really nice experience. I hope you like, and see you again soon. Okay, bye.